Iron Fist is Marvel's latest Netflix series, following in the footsteps of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. All three of those shows astounded me with quality, great writing, characters, and really, like, those shows pretty much overtook the MCU in terms of, if I'm going to watch something, I prefer the Netflix shows. It gives me more of what I want. I love the spectacle and scope of the MCU sometimes, but give me the Daredevil show any day over any Avengers movie. I'll take it. And going into Iron Fist, I had no expectations in terms of, I didn't know the character. I was like, Iron Fist, he must be, like I heard, he's a kung fu guy. So he's gonna, a lot of combat, hopefully some action. Daredevil again, a guy that's good at kicking some ass. I want that. But then, before the show had ever come out, I try to avoid this shit. I really do, but there was news, just people talking about, wow, this show sucks, like negativity about the show all around, in a way that I tried. I was like, I don't want to know, and I would still hear little whispers about how Iron Fist sucks, and it would just get it out. I don't want to know. I don't want expectations. I don't like that, because then one way or another, it's like, I heard it sucks, so I go in as a defender, like, well, let's have them prove to me it sucks. Well, then I become very defensive for the show, or I hear it's so amazing and great, and I'm like, is it that great? And I become like, let's see if we can find issues. I just like to go in blank and empty so I can just discover and enjoy. The buzz wasn't good, but I went in, I watched the show a couple weeks ago, in fact, like when it came out, the day it came out, I breezed through it in about 3-4 days, I think, maybe 5, and I was done. But I had other videos and I got fucking procrastinated, and we're here now, and it's been a couple weeks or months. When did this fucking show come out? Well, let's talk about it. The story follows Danny Rand, who disappeared for 15 years. He suddenly shows up at his old company. He was like a little boy, and now he's a grown man. And all these people are like, no, Danny Rand's dead. He's like, I'm Danny Rand, and I was off in this mystical place training. I am the Iron Fist, and I'd like to take my company back and, you know, readjust to life. I was gone in this place, Kunlun, and I couldn't get out. I'm back now. Danny Rand, I want to enjoy life again. And everyone's like, you're weird, you're crazy. His old friends are like, we don't want nothing to do with you. We don't trust you. Danny Rand's trying to adjust to life, but he fears there's a war coming because the group The Hand, which we've seen in other Marvel Netflix shows, is plotting some kind of thing. They've got plots going on. He meets a martial arts instructor, Colleen Wing, and they're like forming connection. He's trying to figure out his true purpose. Is he the Iron Fist? Is he Danny Rand? His friends are maybe coming to his side and see what's going on. There's more sinister plots at play. A very complicated show. A lot going on, a lot of characters, and to be honest, very low amounts of iron fisting, which sounds weird, but iron fisting, you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, people get the Iron Fist upside their head, but it takes a while. It takes about 6 episodes, I believe, for the show to actually ramp up and get to the point and start being very interesting and compelling, which is not good. I don't care what show you are. You should not take 6 episodes to get really compelling and interesting. That's a mistake. A mistake the show suffered, because apparently a lot of critics, like, I watched the first 2 episodes and yeah, it sucks. Fuck it. Or like, I watched the first 5-6 episodes and I'm done. Fuck it. Here's my review. That's why it's got like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, how can you fucking review a show without finishing it? I mean, technically, I get where they're coming from. If I was watching a really shitty show that I didn't enjoy, would I want to sit through more of it? Technically, I've done that with movies, where sometimes I don't finish a movie and I'm like, yeah, it sucked. I didn't even finish it. Couldn't even finish it. Like, I'm willing to do that with movies or shows if I think they're really horrible and unwatchable. I don't see how this is unwatchable for 6 episodes. Let's talk about the cast. We got Finn Jones as Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, and this guy, he's handicapped from the get-go, because apparently they didn't give him much time to train or prepare for the role. He has no muscles on him at all. He's deceptively strong, if you will. He's got the Iron Fist. Does he need to look like Captain America? I don't know. I mean, technically, there's people like Anderson Silva, UFC fighter, who was not a big guy at all and could kick anyone's ass, so I'll give him the benefit of a doubt, but it does look a little weird when he's doing all this kung fu, and the guy's a twig. I could pick him up and break him in half. Like, he's so tiny. So yeah, physically, he's a little off for what the role kind of requires, but performance-wise, let's talk about it, because him as the Iron Fist, like kicking ass, again, he didn't have time to prepare, so he can't really pull off the action. We'll talk about the action more when we get there, but he's not really able to pull it off. They never really gave him a chance to. And then, like, as Danny Rand, he's just a very one-note character. He's just constantly trying to prove, I am Danny Rand, I am the Iron Fist. And he's gonna keep hitting that over the head over and over. I'm Danny Rand. He spends forever trying to prove he's Danny Rand, then spends forever, I am the Iron Fist, I have to do this, I am the protector. Like, he's so one-note. yeah. And he's not really driven or compelled by anything besides proving who he is, proving what he is. Like, he doesn't necessarily have an overall goal. The show has that issue. There's a lot going on, but it never has a driving force, an element of like, here's what we're building up to. Here's what is pushing the show forward. Here's what we got to focus on and worry about. It never has that. It never has anything of real interest. It's just Danny Rand kind of doing stuff, being very reactionary to what's going on. And like, stuff's happening and very little of it has to do with Danny Rand. Like, at times I forget he's in the show. But I will say Finn Jones does good with the role. It's every element of it. They're crippling and handicapping him to be bad. And like, you can't do good with this. And he's still trying, and I think he still does fine. He is fine in the role. I enjoy him enough. I don't think he's bad. It's just he doesn't have a very interesting character. The character has very little interesting elements or wrinkles to him that makes him at all compelling. He's just a reactionary dude that's very one note. And it's an element that can be interesting for Danny Rand, the idea of this man out of time. He's been gone for so long. His friends don't trust him. They're like, you're dead. We don't even know who you are. He can't go to his friends. He's alone in this world. Like, that element makes him sort of sympathetic and interesting, but eventually it just kind of gets old, and it's just like, yeah, he's one note. I don't belong. I'm the Iron Fist. I'm Danny Rand. Like, he just keeps hitting the same points over and over. Like, get a new element to your character. It just got old. It's like, I get it, sympathetic, but eventually dude becomes a broken record. It's just like, shut up. I have to destroy the hand. I am the Iron Fist. That's what he is. That's what he does. And then like proving who he is, and he's very lonely. He's trying to get his life back. That's all he's got, and it's just kind of dull. And then when we get to the other characters like Colleen Wing, actually way better. She was actually more interesting and had more going on with her. Jessica Henwick did really good with that character. I really liked her and latched onto her. Like, she's interesting. I enjoy her quite a bit. Finn Jones is fine. They never give him a chance to shine. They give her an actual chance to shine and improve and be interesting. So it just shows like the writing is not good. And I will say the showrunner of this is the same dude that drove Dexter into the fucking ground. Dexter, if you know the show, for the first 4 seasons is like pretty much like wonderful, fantastic, especially like the first 2 seasons are great. 3 and 4 I like as well very much. Fantastic show, and then they changed showrunners and a new guy took over and that show went in the fucking toilet. Steadfast. It just went season 5, 6, 7, 8 and it just fucking tanked. It was awful. And that guy was in charge of this. So it doesn't surprise me. Don't let that guy into your TV projects. He doesn't have what it takes. Why would they let him actually do Iron Fist if they're like, you're the guy that ruined Dexter? Here, have our wonderful, prosperous Marvel show. This could be big. We'll let you take it. And then some other characters, like we got Joy Meacham and Ward Meacham, Jessica Stroup and Tom Pelphrey. Like, I will say the Meachams, because there's also the father character, David Wenham as Harold Meacham, and he's like this very mysterious, like, this guy died, but he's still alive, so what's he doing? And it's very business-oriented with Rand Industries, what's going on here? And Joy, I thought I was going to like her, and then it's just, after a couple episodes, I'm like, I'm done with you, you're dull, you serve no purpose, get out of here. And then, thankfully, the show kind of forgets about her, but when they keep bringing her back every now and again, I'm like, and then Ward Meacham, I was like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to watch a show with this guy in it. I was actually really nervous, like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, this is gonna suck. I didn't like his performance, I didn't like the character. I was like, I don't want it, I don't like it, I don't like the writing, I don't like nothing about this. And then surprisingly enough, throughout the show, he got way more interesting and he became like the main focus of the show for me of what I want to know, what's he gonna do? Him and his conflict with his father, what was going on with them, their story, the way it was progressing and changing and evolving. I was super interested in that. Like Harold and Ward, suddenly I was like, Iron Fist who? Yeah, that dude's boring. All he does is he has to fight people and he eventually will, whatever. He's fucking dull. The Meachams, not Joy. I don't give a shit about Joy. But Harold and Ward suddenly were the guys like, I want to see where this goes. I was intrigued when it progressed. I'm like, this is kind of fucked up. I want to know what happens. That's a little shocking to realize that, yeah, the Iron Fist show became more about the Meachams and I actually cared more about that. Disappointing in that way. Our main hero fades into the background. And the problem, though, is it's become so much about business, too, about Rand Industries. That'd be like making the fucking Dark Knight, and then it's like, alright, this Joker stuff, this could all be cool, but let's focus really on Wayne Enterprises and what's going on there and the inner dealings. Like, I get it for the show, when it all comes to an end and when you realize what it was all adding up to and what was going on, I get it. There's still way too much emphasis on this Rand Industries and business. We don't need it. We need some iron fisting, baby. Oh, and don't forget this is a Marvel Netflix show, so of course Rosario Dawson shows up. And as always, she's really good. This one, the most felt obligatory, like, alright, she's here. She's in the show. She'll do some stuff. Like, of all of them, this one felt the most forced and just like, she kind of has to be here, so throw her in. But still, she's a great presence in all these shows. She's really a warming factor, an element where it's just like, I enjoy having you in the show. I like seeing you. Yeah, this Iron Fist show, it's jumbled all over the place. Iron Fist, practically non-existent when he is. He's just not remarkable or interesting in the least. Too much business. Suddenly the Ward and like Harold are way more interesting. And then the action. So the show was very fast-tracked. It was rushed. They did not get the proper time to prepare. So Finn Jones, being the Iron Fist guy, I want some fights like Daredevil. I want some great kung fu. The show, the way they do the action, it's quick cut, fast edited. Not shaky cam or anything. Like, you can see what's going on, but they have to edit it quickly because there's a lot of stuntmen involved. They were not given time to prepare. I actually heard it, the news, like Finn Jones talked about it. He's like, all right, we'd have a fight scene and they would plan it out, and 15 minutes before they'd come to me and tell me what I gotta do. We'd do some quick planning for 15 minutes and then we'd go film it. Yeah, like, how can you expect to succeed and have a good... You can't do that Daredevil hallway fight or the Daredevil stairway fight with like, all right, here's 15 minutes preparation, go. You need planning, you need time to really make that work. Keanu Reeves doesn't really stand out as a guy like, oh, that's an MMA badass. But when you give him preparation and time, suddenly you got the Matrix fight scenes, you got the John Wick fight scenes where suddenly he's a badass because they gave him time and preparation. Keanu Reeves, surfer dude, yeah, excellent. He's suddenly a kick-ass martial artist because of preparation and time. Finn Jones could have had the same, they gave him no time. So the action scenes are merely okay to fine. Occasionally they might stand out as, ooh, that was kind of exciting and interesting, but for the most part it's just over-edited, kind of, because it's not over-edited horrible where it's like he throws a punch and here's 18 angles, but it's still, there's a lot of editing and cutting because they can't do it. They had no time, it was rushed. So it's just all merely fine action. It's okay, it's serviceable. Which is an issue when the show's called Iron Fist and your main guy's an MMA martial arts badass and then the action is just serviceable, it's just okay. That's a big issue. So, Iron Fist. This show was a mess. Does that mean it's horrible? Absolutely not, because watching through the show, I was enjoying myself for the most part. There's some cheesy bullshit in it though. There's a flashback element to the show. There's a plane crash, and they just keep having flashbacks to it. It's TV. They got a low budget, but it looks like garbage, and they just... There's like 12 flashbacks to it, and it's just cheesy and awful, and every time they go back, I'm like, stop it. No. It was just bad. It was funny. Laughably bad. So yeah, Iron Fist. The show's kind of a mess. It has emphasis in the wrong spots where Iron Fist is a non sequitur, not important, not interesting, and then the Meachums are suddenly the driving force of the show, and I'll give them credit. That was an interesting element that I did enjoy and like. The fight scenes, adequate to, they're not memorable fight scenes. They don't stand out. They're just merely fine. They're like, whatever. I'll take them. I'll take what I can get, okay? He kicks elevator door open. Wonderful. I'll take it. It's so, I'm in the desert. I'm looking for water. This action counts as water. Okay, I don't care if it came out of a toilet. Yeah, the action's just serviceable. It's whatever. You got some cool setups. I mean, there's some cool elements to the show, and when it progresses, the later on, after the first 6 episodes, where it is just a lot of business, and it takes so much time to finally get invested in the show, once it gets into it, in the second half of the season, it does get more interesting. Where the plot goes is cool and neat. And I was like, ooh, this is getting awesome. But it never rises above to be great. It is such a far fall from all the excellent, excellent Netflix Marvel shows. It just had no chance. It really didn't. They didn't give it the time. They rushed it, and they really fucked it up because of that. The acting's very mixed, but I liked Colleen Wing. Jessica Henwick, I thought she was really, really good. I like Rosario Dawson. I like the two Meachum men. I don't care about Joy, though. I think Finn Jones does fine. He's very one note, but he does fine. The show is just a mess. They didn't know where to put the emphasis, how to do it right, and it just becomes a jumbled bunch of nothing. So yeah, Iron Fist, a huge disappointment compared to the other Marvel Netflix shows. Just a vast drop off a fucking cliff. It bounces on the way down, and when it hits the bottom, it falls in a weird cavernous little chasm, and the body rots for weeks and then gets defiled by animals. But it's not all bad. I didn't hate the show. The few fleeting things in it that were good, I was able to attach onto and be like, yeah, Harold Meachum, you're kind of cool. Ward, what's going on here with Ward? His character arc really interesting. Colleen Wing, pretty damn awesome. But then Iron Fist, the main character of the show, he's an afterthought. You don't give a shit. He's so forgettable. And where the whole show goes, like, episode to episode, I was into it enough. Like, I want to know what happens. I don't feel like stopping the show and never going back. But when it was all said and done, when it was all over, I felt a very cold feeling of not caring and being like, what a wasted, missed opportunity. This should have been amazing, and it wasn't. It was so disappointing. I would give Iron Fist a C+. It's not god-awful terrible, but it's not very good. It's just, there's a line of how good something has to be for me to be positive and give it a positive rating, and it just didn't quite make it. It's too much of just forgettable whateverness for a show. Comment below, tell me your thoughts on Iron Fist, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.